Hey folks, this is Kelani. With patch 7.25 right around the corner, we're going to look at some of the ways we can prepare and be ready for the changes to come. Obviously, this patch doesn't have a whole bunch of content because it's a smaller 0.5 patch rather than the large content patches we get like 7.1 or 7.2, but that doesn't mean we can't make the most of what we're getting. So first things first, let's talk about what might not be worth doing in preparation of 7.25 that we might have done in earlier patches. Emissaries are in a bit of a weird spot because they're always the target of something new. This time, it's new legendaries. In the past, you could have saved up your emissary caches and opened them after the patch to try and get the new lootable items, but this time, the caches might not be worth collecting. That's because after 7.25, the emissaries will actually reward a different item, which shares the same name. Nothing will change except the item ID, which is actually the most important part because that's what tells the game which loot table to look up and what items you can be rewarded with. That means the emissary caches after 7.25 will have an entirely different loot table which includes the new legendaries, while any gathered before 7.25 hits will use the old loot table. The bottom line is that you won't gain anything for collecting the boxes and opening them after 7.25 launches. One thing you can do though is save up your actual emissary quests. Some of the earlier patches in Legion gave us 3 emissary quests when maintenance was over. They reset the board. But that hasn't happened for the most recent patches we've had, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that probably won't happen for 7.25 either. That means you can save up 3 emissary quests to have 3 new emissary caches on launch day, rather than just 1. It's a small thing, but it might be worth doing. On a similar note, we have the Legion Fall recompense cache, the ones rewarded for handing in Legion Fall war supplies. We don't have any solid info on whether or not these will have a new item ID and therefore new loot table after 7.25 launches, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. Thankfully, we can actually save the source of these caches a lot easier than emissaries. We can just save up the Legion Fall war supplies. They do have a cap of 1000, so whenever you're getting close to reaching that cap, just turn in 100 and keep the bag unopened. There's always the chance we can get the new stuff from saved up recompense bags, and I'm sure you can wait a week to open them up. One thing I can say with certainty is that there's no point in holding onto your nether shards. The relinquished tokens won't be able to turn into the new legendaries at all, according to the dev team, so that's one thing off our plate. You can also prepare for the new legendaries, depending on what you want to happen. If you're capped on legendaries for a certain spec and want the new legendaries for that spec, you can just keep going and save up even more bad luck protection. If you're not capped on your legendaries and the new ones will be better than the ones you still have to obtain, you can either try and stop your progress until 7.25 launches to have a chance at the new legendaries, or just keep going at your current pace. This probably won't apply to a great many people, mainly those who want to min-max their legendaries drops. So with that out of the way, we've also got a few in-game milestones you can complete or work towards. The first is getting caught up and completing the Legion Fall campaign on the Broken Isles. Tomorrow should be the end of it, so if like me you've been waiting until the end to get them all bashed out because they're kind of boring and take no time at all anyways, now's the time to get through them. This leads up to the class mount being available tomorrow, so make sure you get that before 7.25 and you'll be pretty much done with 7.2. You'll also be in a perfect spot to continue any new story content that Blizzard decides to add. On the topic of character progression, I would recommend you unlock the Concordance of Legion Fall trait in any spec that you will want to be playing come 7.25 in the Tomb of Sargeras. The Mythic Raid will be tuned for characters who have the Concordance trait, so getting it makes sure you're in as good a position as possible to be competitive. The first point is also a pretty decent increase in power, so making sure you have it can also free you up to focus on other areas of the game, as adding more points into Concordance isn't really a priority for anyone. While working on your artifact power, you'll hopefully be working on your artifact knowledge at the same time. You should be hitting AK-40 sometime soon if you've been keeping up with the research work orders since the start of 7.2, but getting to AK-40 is going to cross one more thing off the list. AK-40 is our current cap, so as soon as you reach it, you can stop worrying about your work orders and again turn your focus to other parts of the game. The super cool thing about AK-40 is that when you get it, you can then purchase AK-40 heirloom books to send to your alts, giving them AK-40 instantly. Getting alts up to date with artifact power is going to be so much easier once AK-40 is done. The last thing I'm going to say is if you enjoy the current way Mythic Plus works and how much loot it rewards, you best get your Mythic Plus grind on now, as you've only got a week until the overhaul comes into play, which includes reducing loot for the majority of players. If you're hunting a specific item, it's probably going to be easier to get it this week than it will for a while after 7.2.5 launches. Just something to keep in mind. And that's all the preparation I'll be doing for 7.2.5. I can't wait until next Tuesday rolls around and we finally get to play with all the cool new stuff. But that's it for this video. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comments section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or hop on over to Discord. We have a server at discord.gg/Kelani. Great place to come ask questions or just hang out. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.